Sziasztok, üdvözlök mindenkit ismét itt sok-sok szeretettel, itt szombat délután, uzsonután egy picivel, és akkor folytatjuk tovább a gémet. Hogy láthatjátok címben is, csináljuk tovább a tutoriált, mert még nagyon hosszú a tutoriál, és nagyon jó is a játék, nekem nagyon bejön. Egy pár perc és kezdünk is, csak főzök egy kávét. Szóval mindjárt jövök, fiúk, lányok. Jaj, na jövök is, vagyok is. Ahogy mondtam néktek, eléggé kómás vagyok, szóval ezért főztem most egy kávét. Nem szoktam, mert csak reggelente szoktam, de az sem mindig. Közben én megnézem a dolgokat, hogy minden oké-e. Remélhetőleg minden oké, meg ott is minden oké. Beom a OBS-t is, a Windows-t is, gépet is, mindent, hogy így néha így magától, ha van valami frissítés, update, valamit biztos elállít, szóval most már úgy vagyok el, hogy mindent folyamatosan megnézek. Jó. Na, és akkor nézzük a gémet. Ami most ugye akciós, 5 euró, de bár amikor ti ezt látni fogjátok volna nézők, hát akkor már valószínűleg ismét 20 euró lesz. De már most van lassan 10 videó, elnézést, amit föl kéne töltsek, ami 10 éjszaka. Na nézzük. Hangokat megnéztem a videóba, szerintem minden oké. Esetleg lehet, hogy egy picit lejjebb veszem sőt, egy kicsit lejjebb veszem, mert azért a sárgának a közepén vagyunk. Hangügyileg. És ott is a game. Legalábbis ott van, csak itt még nincs. De előbb-utóbb elindul. És akkor ha még meg akarom nézni veletek a ízlében a növényevők szerepét. Na nézzük, ott is van. Mondom, ott van. Úgy köszönöm. Sziasztok, ismételtem. Nézzük tovább. Gémet. Egy kicsit helyre vettem a hang előtt, fiúk, lányok, hogy ne legyen olyan hangos. Szóval, még mindig ott, még csak az első kettőt néztük meg, és akkor most jön ugye a egységek és képességek. A különböző katonai alakulatok és különleges képességek áttekintése. Így mindent megtudhatsz a bevethető egységek erősségeiről és gyengeségeiről. Juhú! Szerintetek, már most elfelejtettem, hogy az első kettőben mi volt. Hát ez van. Szerintem ez azért gyakran fogok játszani. Ez most eléggé bejön. Nincs valami film vagy valami? Nézzük, kezdjük. Megjöttek a szövetséges orszok.
Why hello again, Commander. In this lesson, you're going to get acquainted with your units and some of the abilities that make them unique. Every unit in Red Alert 3 has some sort of special ability, in addition to its primary ability. The majority of your unit's primary abilities is to attack their targets. A unit's special ability may put a nasty status effect on an enemy, switch to an alternate weapon, or even transform into an entirely different unit.
Let us go over how to use special abilities now. Select that allied cryocopter, if you please. The cryocopter's special ability is the shrink beam. With the cryocopter selected, left-click on its special ability button in the bottom right of your screen, or press the F key. Notice that the shrink beam is a targeted special ability, which means you have to left-click on a target to use it. Other types of special abilities take effect as soon as you press the ability button. Now then, use the shrink beam on my good friend the Soviet Hammer tank.
Wait, what? No way, not me again!
Szegényke, mindig ezt a kalapács tankot baszogatják. Le lehet kicsinyíteni, basszus.
We're not gonna get shot up, are we?
Nem, várjatok, nem jó? Nyomom?
Let's see.
Melting!
As stated earlier, not all special abilities need to be targeted like the cryocopter's shrink beam. Some abilities cause units to switch weapon modes. Blimey, that tank looks like he's lost control, and all you've got is an allied hydrofoil. Its primary weapon is an anti-air cannon that won't do you any good here. However, if you use its special ability, it'll switch from its gun to the weapon jammer. Select the hydrofoil now and ready the weapon jammer by left-clicking on its special ability button or hitting the F key.
Jó, szerintem azért ez most jobb lesz, nem lesz olyan hangos.
Let's take her out for a cruise.
Proper. Now, have your hydrofoil fire on that Soviet apocalypse tank on the shore.
Apokalipszis tank.
Hydrofoil.
Eh?
much for that tea
attól
party.
semmit
As you
nem
can see,
beszélni.
the apocalypse tank can no longer fire. Not so scary now, is he? So remember, even the toughest enemy units may be vulnerable to your lesser units' special abilities. Learn them all and never give up.
If you're finished with your motivational speech, perhaps we can continue. Commander,
Ezt a
let's
beszédet
go
kurva
over
jó
a unit whose
megcsinálták.
special ability is to
Ahogy így egymással is
transform. One
adakoznak.
basic example is the MCV, though let us take a look at a more exciting case in one of the Empire of the Rising Sun's versatile Mecha Tengu units. The Mecha Tengu is an amphibious, hovering anti-infantry unit that can transform into the Jet Tengu, a flying air superiority fighter. Not only does the transform ability affect how it navigates the battlefield, it also means the unit changes from having anti-ground weapons to anti-air weapons. Select the Mecha Tengu and use its special ability.
Got a score to settle? All right.
Impressive, no? Now, order your Jet Tengu to destroy that miserable cryocopter. Oh, and don't worry, it is merely a training robot carefully disguised to look like a real vehicle.
Pillanat. Ja, itt.
Flying high.
Eltűnt az egység.
Jet mode, no complaints.
Még vannak gondjaim. Melyikkel kapcsintok?
No robots are going to get past you, Commander. You should know there are some units at your disposal whose primary ability either isn't a weapon at all, or will change depending on what you tell it to attack. For example, each faction has its own type of engineer unit, like this swarthy fellow over here. Engineers are special units that can capture any enemy structure or neutral tech structure. Much like with moving or attacking, you can select your engineer and right-click on a capturable structure. That'll make him go after it. Look, there seems to be an oil derrick you can capture out in the water. Oil derricks are neutral tech structures that provide additional income. Go get it.
I once was professor.
Igen, ez emlékszem, ilyen a második egységben is volt, hogy ugye a mérnökök megjavítottak mindent, vagy el lehet velük foglalni az ellenséges létesítményeket, vagy a semleges dolgokat.
I suppose it has value.
Oh!
Off he goes. Note that engineers are amphibious, so they automatically switch to a keen aquatic form when they get to water. Not all units are amphibious, of course. Notice you can issue capture commands into the fog of war, assuming the structure is still there when you get to it.
Hey, where did that engineer go anyway? Ow!
He went into the structure, you fool, and there he shall remain forever, for that is the way of the engineer.
You may have noticed that when you highlighted that enemy structure with your engineer selected, your cursor changed to a garrison cursor. That garrison cursor indicates a structure you can enter. Your basic infantry can't garrison enemy structures or neutral tech structures like the engineer can, but they can garrison civilian structures such as hotels and houses.
Fear not, for civilians have long since abandoned such structures once they heard we were coming.
When infantry garrison these structures, they receive extra protection, as the building they're in will take damage instead of the units themselves, should they come under fire.
Yeah, that's what
Garrisoning your units into civilian structures is a good tactic, both from an offensive and a defensive perspective. It helps to secure locations, force enemies to take an alternate path, or give your units more cover near to your base, should the enemy send a force to destroy you. Now garrison that nearby structure by issuing a move order onto it whilst having some peacekeepers selected.
Securing building.
Ez annó is volt.
Good. They're in. And here comes trouble. As you can see, those enemy training robots fired upon the structure rather than directly at your peacekeepers. Watch out though, because each faction has ways of clearing out garrison structures.
The The Allies and Empire can try rushing their peacekeepers or Imperial warriors into a garrison structure, while the Soviet conscripts can use their Molotov cocktails.
Of course, you could just blow the structures up if you cannot be bothered by such details.
Now, let's say you need to get your peacekeepers out of the structure. Just select the structure and use the evacuate command. Just like using a special ability on a unit. Do this now.
Megvan.
Some of your units can also be garrisoned by your infantry. The multi-gunner IFV is a unique allied vehicle, whose weapon takes on the characteristics of whichever infantry unit hops inside. Order one of your peacekeepers into that IFV, and watch what happens.
On alert. Confirmed. On point. Scanning perimeter. 10-4, sir.
Saybe.
If I may, normally the IFV's weapon works best against aircraft. But once you garrisoned your peacekeeper into it, it changed into an anti-infantry weapon. While the IFV can only contain one infantry unit at a time, other vehicles can hold more, and can transport your infantry around the battlefield. For example, the Riptide ACV is admittedly a good transport for getting infantry quickly and safely from one point to another, although infantry cannot fire out of it. Garrison your remaining infantry into the Riptide now. Now that they're garrisoned, let's move your Riptide across this lake and over to the shore on the other side. Look for the marker on the radar.
Door's always open.
Oké. Haladjunk. Ja, megvan, látom.
You got it, sir.
Riptides are a special type of unit in that they're amphibious, meaning they can traverse both land and water. As my comrade said, not all units are amphibious, so it's good to make note of the ones that are. Some units behave differently on land and water. For instance, when your Riptide is on water, its torpedo tubes open to give it additional firepower. Now that you've made it to the other side, let's get those peacekeepers out. All transports have the not-so-special ability to evacuate their passengers. Use the evacuate ability now.
This is my playground.
Finally, let us discuss contextual attacks. A contextual attack is what you get when your cursor changes to something other than a normal attack cursor. Select the allied commander who has showed up so very unexpectedly.
Hol? Ja, megvan.
Where do you want me?
This Agent Tanya has different ways of attacking targets depending on the type of target. When you order her to attack enemy infantry, such as these lifelike robots, your cursor will be that of a normal attack cursor. However, when you highlight an enemy vehicle or structure, you get a demolition cursor. When ordered to demolish a target, Tanya will move very close to the target, set some charges, and blow it up. This is an example of a contextual attack. Go ahead and dispose of those forces using the commando.
Ugye ez már ilyen spéci szuperkatona, mondjuk azt. Ilyen volt a 2-ben is. Ahogy látjátok is, meg ahogy mondta is, ő ugye egy gyalogos, őt előn tudjuk, őt viszont fel tudjuk bombázni.
I bet he could use a break.
Gyerünk, Tanya! Mutasd, mit tudsz! Menj a hátul, Tanya. Kurva sok. Ő most nő?
I'll take this one. Is that it? Just that one? No sweat. Go back to sleep. That one will go up real good.
Bombázz? Vagy bombázz, ez olyan nekem.
Don't blink.
Nem kell.
Locked and loaded.
Ez előző tutoriál volt.
Other units, such as our allied spies like this one here, also have contextual attacks. Select the spy, then use his contextual attack on one of those enemy training dummies.
Disguise ready.
Now who's the dummy, am I right? As you can see, the spy's primary ability is to disguise himself as the enemy. Alternatively, if you highlight an enemy structure, you can try to infiltrate it to disrupt the enemy's base.
Infiltration has different effects depending on which type of structure is infiltrated. Experiment with all the possibilities. Incidentally, the Empire of the Rising Sun Shinobi unit may also infiltrate structures. Only the tactless Soviets lack an infiltrator.
Oh! But why?
Come on, lads, we have to get through this. Commander, that's the end of this lesson. See you in the next one.
Ennek is. Ilyen is volt a másodikban, emlékeztek.
For king and country.
Jó, akkor támadó. Jó. Szupertitkos eljárások és különleges parancsnoki képességek áttekintése. Hú, gyerekek, ebben a játékban aztán van minden. Jó a grafikája. Iszonyú sok minden van benne, szóval nekem begyünk. Mert zenéhez baffol. Megértek.
Why, hello, Commander. In this particular lesson, we're going to be covering top secret protocols and how to use them, as well as the threat meter and some other heavy stuff. To begin with, let's have a look at this here base. Let's say you're low on credits. If at any point you decide that you no longer want a structure that you've placed, you may sell it. To sell a structure, left-click on the sell button under your radar, then left-click on the structure you wish to sell. Right-clicking cancels out of sell mode. Try selling one of those power plants now.
Ez is volt a másodikban, ugye, hogy bármit el lehet adni. Na nézzük. Elnézést. Ó, de nem engedi bármelyiket. Legalábbis engedi.
It was a good power plant, but you can build another. Don't go crazy selling everything. What would your friends think if you failed a tutorial mission? Hey, quit it!
Relax, friend. I was just about to explain to the commander here how to repair. It's pretty important. To repair a damaged structure, left-click on the repair button under your radar. Then left-click on your construction yard. Give it a go.
You'll notice that the repair icon has appeared on your construction yard, indicating that it's undergoing repairs. Structures can only repair as long as you have sufficient funds. You may notice that as your structure is repairing, your credits are slowly trickling down.
Now then, let's talk about top secret protocols.
Top secret protocols is just a fancy term for special support powers you can use. These will affect the battlefield, your enemies, and your units and structures. Basically, they can get you out of a pinch. Keep in mind, you'll need your construction yard intact in order to use them.
Each faction has its own set of protocols which can be offensive or defensive in nature, sometimes both. As you progress through a battle, you gradually earn security points which you can use to access new protocols. Progress towards your next security point is indicated by the meter surrounding the top secret protocols button on your screen. The number in the button is your current number of security points.
Now, let's go over how to access your protocols. Left-click the top secret protocols button, or press the tilde hotkey to the left of the 1 key to bring up a menu of all the dirty tricks you can use.
Na, ilyen biztosna, hogy nem volt a kettőben. Aktivál!
As you can see, this menu has what, like 15 different protocols to choose from. The protocols are ranked by levels, so to access protocols further down the list, you need to access the ones above them first.
As mentioned earlier, there are different types of protocols. There are offense-oriented protocols such as surgical strike, which can damage enemy forces. There are more tactical protocols such as chrono rift, which can protect your units or split enemy forces. And then there are upgrade protocols that provide passive bonuses, such as advanced aeronautics, which toppens up all those weak little allied aircraft. Unlike offensive and tactical protocols, upgrade protocols take effect immediately once acquired and do not need to be activated manually.
Each protocol costs 1 security point. Now, go get surveillance sweep from your top secret protocols menu.
Hoppá! Megfigyelj! Kémkedni titkolt ellenség. Jelölje ki 2 pontot a keleti és pásztázás 2 pontot. Időtölnő is. Wow! Akkor itt vannak az ilyen különleges támadások.
Well, well, sir. Looks like you've been cleared to use surveillance sweep. What an occasion! All protocols available to you will appear on the left-hand side of your screen. To use surveillance sweep, first left-click on it. Now you need to select a target location for the sweep. This one's a little dodgy because you then have to select a second location to plot a trajectory. So, left-click once, then again someplace else in the area near the edge of the screen. Give it a go.
Hol kapcsolja? Képernyő, szél.
See that? Make sure to have a look at the notes written next to each protocol, so you're aware of what you're signing up for before you pick one of these. By the way, the protocols available to you are determined solely by the faction you're commanding. So even if you pull a stunt like capturing an enemy conyard, doesn't mean their top brass will open the kimono on their military secrets. Makes sense, yeah?
Next we'll talk about the threat meter, which gives you an impression of how much death and destruction is happening all around you in a given moment. The threat meter increases in battle, especially when you sustain heavy casualties. And the higher it is, the faster you earn new security points. Higher levels of threat also influence how quickly your units gain combat veterancy. The higher the threat, the faster your units will become great heroes from killing foes. Veteran units display a little chevron. They're better at killing enemies, and once they achieve heroic status, they automatically regenerate to boot.
Watch how one of your units gains veterancy by mowing down droves of hostile targets. Forces like these can make a huge difference, so best keep them around. Speaking of which, what sort of commotion over there?
It appears you are under attack. Take advantage of your high threat meter and vet up your forces while using some of your top secret protocols to assist you. Fear not, for this is only a simulation involving lifelike robots.
Oh, now it's on. Try to build up enough forces to stop your enemy's invasion, then take those units to the enemy's base and destroy it.
Remember, you also have access to your top secret protocols to help you take down your enemy. Ow! Whatever. Figure it out for yourself then.
Prospector on duty.
most én feloldom, vagy mi? Ja, ha feloldottam, ugye volt pontom.
Amazing. Right, let's do it.
Nekem egy olyan érzésem, hogy ezt nem jól csináltam, nehéz. Ja de, nem. Taktikai bombázás. Meg kell semmisíteni.
Stay still here.
Adjunk neki! Nem az. Itt van.
You're in good hands, my friend.
Neked is? Kicsit fejlődjünk, miért megsemmisítjük őket.
You're in good hands, my friend.
Ready, sir. What's the trouble? Ready, sir. Where's the trouble?
You're in good hands, my friend.
Ready, sir. Where's the trouble? Ready, sir. Where's the trouble? Ready, sir. Where's the trouble?
You're in good hands, my friend.
Hogy minél jobb egységeinkre nyessenek.
Need something out of your way?
Jeff, right here.
Nem tudom, mi akar lenni. De a központot pusztítsátok el, fiúk.
Jeff, right here.
Ez azt hiszem kapta.
Jeff, right here. Jeff, right here. Jeff, right here. Sup? Jeff, right here.
Hát ha ellenséget kell megsemmisíteni... Nem úgy.
You called for the Mirage? Mirage tank. You called for the Mirage? Maintain cloaking field. They may see us now.
Guardian tank,
Maintain
awaiting
cloaking
deployment.
field.
Guardian tank, good to go. Guardian tank, awaiting deployment. Could we be of help, sir?
Jó, vannak itt dolgok, fiúk, lányok. Ez nem jó volt, várjatok. Támadás! Teljes megsemmisítés! Fölbant aztán az elég. De így már van csípúi.
Keep the pressure on him. Jab. Here we come. I can hang with this. Watch this one. That's it. That's it. Hell yeah. Check this out. Hit him hard. Wide open.
Hol kapják?
This one's on me. Do it.
Jövünk. Kellemes a zenéje.
Sack 'em. Fools will get clowned. Charging up. Hold still, sucker. Keep the pressure on him. Hit it.
Jó, szerintem jövünk.
I'm ready. We can take it.
Ez is néz ki, de jó.
Smashing work, Commander. You're now one step closer to becoming a serious threat out there. We're done with this lesson. See you in the next one, all right?
Az még megy másfele. Na. Egy másodperc, fiúk, lányok. Inni. És vissza a gamebe. Na nézzük. Haladó harci taktikák, parancsok és alternatív harci manőverek áttekintése. Ugye sajátítottunk mindent, hogy gyilcs volt. Ja. Szövetséges.
Back from morning, Commander. In this particular lesson, we'll be going over some of the more advanced play mechanics that will separate the men from the boys. From earlier lessons, you should be aware of the Allied spy and some of his capabilities by now. Spies can disguise themselves as enemy units. Only scout units, the Allied attack dog, Soviet war bear, and Imperial burst drone can detect disguised enemy units. Spies and Imperial shinobi can also infiltrate enemy structures. When you infiltrate a structure, it'll impair your enemy's base in various ways, which should give you the upper hand. For example, if you infiltrate that enemy reactor, the entire base will power down for a while. Go ahead and infiltrate the instant generator by right-clicking on it whilst your spy is selected.
Szóval ez a tank, ezek szövetségesek. A másik kettő az meg azt hiszem a... tudjátok ki.
How's the disguise holding up? Indeed.
Here's muchos nachos.
Cheers.
Milyen rövidje van.
Stand by for infiltration.
Excellent, Commander. By infiltrating their generator, you've brought down their entire base's power, which in turn powered down their base defenses. That will certainly make it easier to destroy their base. Stupid robots. Oh no! It appears the Empire of the Rising Sun is sending in a force to destroy your tanks. You'll need to retreat your tanks back to your base. A clever way of doing that is to reverse move them back to your base. This will allow them to continue attacking those enemy units while retreating to a safer location. To reverse move your units, select them and press the D key on your keyboard. Notice how your cursor changed. Right-click on the target destination near your construction yard to order your tanks to retreat. Another benefit of reverse moving is that it keeps a unit's stronger front armor facing the enemy. Most vehicles are more vulnerable from the rear and flanks, so when you retreat from enemies using a normal move command, you'll turn tail and take more damage. Reverse moving allows your unit's stronger front armor to take the brunt of the fire.
Could we be of help, sir? What's on the agenda? Approaching area.
Good job. Your units made it back and were able to whittle down those enemy tanks health enough for your base defenses to finish them off. Had you issued a normal move order back to your base, your Guardian tanks might not have fared as well. Incidentally, should the enemy catch you off guard with an attack, listen for audio cues from your intel officer and visual cues on radar to tip you off. To jump to the most recent radar event, just hit the space bar.
Enemy commando detected.
Or to get back to your main base from anywhere in battle, tap the H key. Oh, pants. It looks like the Empire is sending another attack wave, but this time they've come at us with infantry. Your base defenses are strong against infantry, but with that many of the blinders, I don't think it's going to be enough. So, a good way to dispatch large quantities of infantry is to crush them with vehicles. Not all vehicles can crush infantry, so it's good to familiarize yourself with the ones that can. Small vehicles like your IFVs and Riptides are examples of vehicles that can't crush. On the other hand, larger vehicles like Guardian tanks and assault destroyers can crush a man like so many potato crisps. What's more, some of the largest vehicles in Red Alert 3 are big enough to crush other, smaller vehicles. Anyhow, let's crush those robots.
Wait! You may wish to assign your tanks to a control group first. This is an important way of managing your forces. To assign units to a control group, select them, then hold the control key and press a number key. Do this now, please.
Oké, most tesszük őket ugye csapatba, mondjuk úgy.
Could we be of help, sir? Ready as always. Guardian tank.
Ja, nyomba kell tartani.
Good. You may now select those units at any time by pressing the corresponding number key. You can also jump to the group by double tapping the key. Now please proceed with crushing my robots.
Thought you'd never ask. To crush enemy infantry, select your Guardian tanks and issue a move order behind the enemy infantry. You can also issue a force move command using the G hotkey or using the advanced commands tab near the bottom of the screen. Issue a move command to the designated location with your tanks now.
We'll be on our best behavior.
Seeing as how that rising sun base seems intent on taking us down, let's go over some ways to get your units to protect your base without being drawn out by the enemy. All of your units can be set to different stances, which affect their behavior. All units start off in guard stance, meaning they will auto-acquire enemies that come within their attack range and pursue them for a short distance if they try to flee. Once the dust settles, your units will return to their original positions. We need to have some of our units on defense for our base, but not pursue our enemies. To do this, we need to put them into hold ground stance. First, select one or more of your tanks. Now click on the Advanced Commands panel in the bottom right of your screen next to the unit portrait. As you can see, this panel reveals some additional controls for your units. Select the Hold Ground button to change your unit's stance.
Szerintetek? Elég sok izé van.
Simple as that, you've just changed your unit's stance. Keep in mind that no matter what stance your units are in, any orders you issue will always be followed. Stances will only affect how units behave when not under your direct control. Now, take 3 Guardian tanks, not counting our field instructor, and move one to each of the designated locations and put them into a hold ground stance.
What?
Ready as always. We're on it, sir. Guardian tank at your service.
Guardian, mert csak egy. Ja, nem.
Could we be of help, sir? Gentlemen, let's move.
Perfect. What say we also set up some base defenses? Each faction has a couple of its own base defenses. The Allies have multi-gunner turrets, for example. Select the Support Structures tab in the sidebar, build a multi-gunner turret, and place it near your tanks.
Gondolom ide kell majd tenni őket. Nem, gyorsan is készülök meg. Bonus lesz, Mamma mia!
Multi-gunner turrets change weapons if you put different infantry into them, though the rocket launchers they use by default should be handy in most cases.
You can also build walls from your support structures queue. To do so, build and place one wall segment, then build and place another along the same row as the first. You'll see the build grid show green to indicate where you can form a solid wall. Careful though, each wall segment costs you, so longer walls are more expensive. Walls are useful for blocking smaller forces like those pesky engineers, always trying to steal your structures.
Yeah.
Go on and try building a solid wall at the front of your base.
Igen, szóval hogy itt is van fal, mint annó is volt a másikban. Én falat nem ilyen szoktam használni, mert elég gyorsan szét szokták lőni. Egyedül a központot szoktam, ha jól emlékszem, megvédeni. Először védel.
Capital. Now if the rising sun attacks, we'll have some extra defences waiting for them that they won't be able to draw away from our base. And here they come.
Azt hittem, ezt úgy összehúzza, mint itt a falat. Ez mind az volt?
As you can see, they've decided to retreat back to base, but your Guardian tanks stood their ground and didn't continue after them. Had your Guardian tanks followed them back, they most likely would have been destroyed by the Empire's own base defences.
Yes, the Empire's base defenses are quite impressive. You may need to use combined arms to defeat them. In fact, if you depend overmuch on just one or two types of units, you are bound to fail. Thankfully, it is easy to manage multiple types of units at once. Try selecting all your combat forces on the battlefield using the Q key. Good. Notice you have multiple unit types in the contextual tab in your sidebar at right. One type of unit in your group will always be selected. To cycle between unit types, simply tap the tab hotkey. Try this now. Switching unit types in this fashion makes it easier to use your mixed group special abilities without deselecting the group. We should also briefly touch on waypoint mode for its useful. Waypoint mode lets you queue up move or attack orders. To use waypoint mode, hold the Alt key while issuing move or attack orders as normal with units selected. Your units will complete the orders in sequence.
Ó, bazd meg. Most. Milyen mozgás után csak?
Could we be of help, sir? Capital. What's on the agenda? Affirmative, sir.
Now, earlier we had mentioned how directional armor comes into play during battles. Another type of armor bonus your units can receive comes from an automatic reaction to enemy fire called suppression. Suppression only affects infantry units. When infantry units become suppressed, they go prone on the ground and continue firing. Suppressed infantry are slower, but more resistant to damage. Send your infantry into that city square there and attack that garrison structure.
Yo, miért van gyorsan?
What's up, coach? Sack 'em. Chaplain, on deck. Here we come.
Banzai! As you approached the structure, your units came under enemy fire, and some of them were suppressed as a result of the enemy attacks. Due to this suppressed position, your units could absorb more damage and in turn deal more damage to that enemy structure, allowing them to destroy it.
Oh! What was that for?
That was for my robots.
Well, good job, Commander. You now know some of the advanced tactics that'll surely make you a worthy adversary on the battlefield. And would you believe it, there are still more advanced tactics and commands for you to learn. Just dig into the options screen for a complete command list. But do that on your own time. This lesson's over, and there's only one more left. We're heading over to it now.
Iszonyú, hogy mi van ebbe, basszus, a kettőhöz képest. A zene az baszó. És akkor már csak egy van, alparancsok. Szerintetek mi emlékszem az eddigi tutoriálban, ami már 3 órája tart lassan. Ez sokat kell játszani az, hogy az ember belejöjjön. Na nézd. Szóval mi?
Finally, the last lesson. Feels good to be almost finished, eh, Commander?
Yeah.
Let's get started. In this lesson, you'll learn how to work with your co-commander to help achieve victory on the battlefield. You'll be working with a co-commander throughout the campaigns in Red Alert 3. You can fight alongside a friend, or if you don't have any friends, the game will provide one for you. No matter which campaign you're playing, your co-commander's forces will always be green. In general, you can expect your co-commander to do a halfway decent job of fending for him or herself or helping you out. But just in case, we've set up a handy-dandy interface for you to issue specific directives to your partner. In the upper left hand of your screen is the co-commander monitor. Unfortunately, this won't let you control your real friends, but it's useful when fighting alongside one of the game's co-commanders.
Now, let's go over all the functions. First and foremost, there's a handsome image of your co-commander to remind you who you're fighting alongside. For this tutorial, you'll be fighting alongside the fresh-faced Soviet commander Oleg.
Commander, Comrade Oleg here. I trust you're enjoying the banality of this training lesson. Hurry up and learn what you need to, so we can get to the real thing.
Right next to his portrait are the various directives you can issue. Basically, you can boss him around. The first is take position, which causes your co-commander to immediately send his available forces to a target location. To issue this directive, select the Take Position button. Then move your cursor over the battlefield and left-click again in the target area. Go ahead, please.
New objective received.
No problem.
Ez igazából olyan, mint amikor ugye játszunk másokkal, vagy mások ellen, és van egy szövetségesünk, most ugye a gép. Meg lehet neki mondani, hogy jöjjön ide. Segítsen.
Notice how Oleg promptly responded by sending his forces to the position you requested.
Now, the next directive is Strike Target. This directive makes your co-commander immediately send available forces to destroy that target, and anything nearby. Much like last time, to issue a Strike Target directive, you must first select the button, then move your cursor over an enemy and left-click on it. Issue a Strike Target directive on that enemy boot camp.
New objective received.
Ez az. Ez szó szerint az, fiúk, lányok, amikor legyen kozák, amivel már játszottunk nem egyszer, hogy ugye például én játszok a géppel, és akkor ő a gép, és akkor lehet neki mondani, hogy miket csináljon. És azt csinálja. Ugye, a csatában meg hasonló.
I'll take care of him for you.
Objective complete.
That is how we do it in Russia. Notice how Oleg immediately responded with his forces. Another option is to use the plan attack directive. This directive makes your co-commander build a good-sized force to eliminate any enemy units in the target area, as well as any enemies encountered along the way. As with the others, to issue a plan attack directive, just select the button, then select the target enemy or location on the battlefield. Go ahead and use plan attack on the other side of that valley.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Basszó. Hú, már dúl a csata? Nem, még jönnek. Ó, milyen a pálya. De jó.
Our ally is under attack.
See that? Your co-commander's always got your back, Commander.
Ez jó.
Lastly, let's go over the keep command directive. This one makes your co-commander fend for him or herself, and he or she will always do so by default. Unlike the other directives, this one does not require you to select a target, and may be used to cancel the other directives. To issue this directive, simply select the Keep Command button.
Now then, we have one final type of directive to review.
Enemy base detected.
During the course of some missions, you will come across what we call co-commander strikes. These are situational tactics your co-commander will use when given the signal. Notice how one has just appeared on the battlefield. Co-commander strikes may appear anywhere, anytime during a mission, and it's yours to decide how best to use them. Let us examine that co-commander strike more closely.
To give your co-commander the signal to execute the strike, select it. This brings up a window explaining the strike. To confirm the tactic, select the execute button. Go ahead and give your co-commander the signal now.
Yeah.
New objective received.
Csak egy tippol, szerintem mert helikopterekkel jönnek. Azt hittem, amit elbasztam. Úgy nézem, hogy nem tippelnek. Na mindegy, valami.
On that note, great job, Commander. You now have the know-how to work with your co-commander.
Hát én ezen a játékon meghalok.
As you can see, your co-commander can help you do some of the heavy lifting. Now get out there and knock some heads together. Go on, what are you waiting for? A fancy ending with a sappy montage? As for you boys, the truce is off!
Finally, you jerks!
Shut up!
Na ez volt a tutoriál! Oké, fiúk, lányok. Vannak hadjáratok. Vannak csaták. Ütközött hálózat. Ha? Oké. Kezdeti nyersanyag. Alap. Mappok. Milyen frakcióval legyünk? Japán, szövetséges, orosz... Ez mi? Meg kell mindent nézni. Számítógépes ellenfél... Mindjárt megnézzük. De mondjuk úgy, akkor ez volt a tutoriál. Egy kis szünet, és utána akkor nézzünk egy ilyet, fiúk, lányok. Addig is köszönjük, hogy itt voltatok. Csuklak, bocsi. További szép napot, jó étvégét, pár perc, és akkor megnézzünk egy ilyen csatát. Sziasztok!